So even though I've been bullish on a potential altcoin pump, what about if it's not coming? Now Bitcoin has touched and created a new all-time high, but altcoins? Even Bitcoin, when it was hitting those highs, no one gave a shit. No one cared. But I have recently taken a little bit off the table with Bitcoin. Nothing crazy. I'll explain why I did it. But the kicker is here, like, this could be one of the worst bull markets ever if you're holding altcoins, which I've explained before in the past why I don't hold altcoins. Should we just get into this? Let's go. By the way, smash the like button if you're tired of waiting for alt season. I think there should be over 3,000 likes if that happens. Come on. Hit the like button. Now, the first thing we've got to look at is obviously this bullish window that we kind of gave ourselves because Bitcoin hit an all-time high. No one cared. No one gave a flying hoot about it, honestly. And this is the thing. Altcoins barely reacted. Dominance didn't really drop. Stable currency dominance was dropping, but because of this doing this massive run over the period of, 30 plus days. But we have somewhat changed structure a little bit here. And it doesn't look great. And this is just the normal daily time frame. This is where we are. And we have pulled back. There is some external factors of why we've pulled back with tariffs, the EU, the legislation around tariffs. Are they legal? And then other bits and pieces which kind of have made altcoins be pretty painful, which we'll come on to. But retail isn't here yet. I've talked about that before. It doesn't feel like the retail push is here. There's no euphoria here yet. But there will be a time when it will come when we hit certain metrics or parameters, especially if Bitcoin hits certain levels. But as I say, that bullish window of hitting that all-time high just didn't really mature into that situation. And the fact that altcoins have rejected a little bit, well, bad, let's be honest, just a little bit, is a bad sign. So I took profits on Bitcoin only because of this. June, delivery month. And hit an all-time high kind of made more sense in my eyes. So there wasn't much in terms of technical analysis in terms of why I did that, even though I started to see that this wasn't really melting as much. And I thought that was one little trigger. And I thought Bitcoin's $110,000, $111,000. I got out at that point. I didn't sell a lot, by the way, just a little percentage amount, which was enough for me to go, you know what, I can forget about the market in June because there will be periods in June where I will not be here, and I'll openly say that. But it's just logic timing, right? So when we talk about the likes of Bitcoin, we often say when it hits or goes towards all-time high, it struggles for a bit, and then eventually it will kind of run a bit hard. And I will do some analysis on this in a minute. But for me, this isn't a time for like greed. We're not there yet. We're not at euphoria. And at the end of the day, I was buying Bitcoin at the lows. I was happy to hold it. I was trading it. I was playing around with it. And I made some money there. And I thought, if I just take it, keep the cash for a bit, don't have to worry about anything for a while, and then that's it done. Whereas in the past, what would happen is I'd wait, and then something would go wrong, and I'm like, oh, I should have done that. So I've kind of learned my own lesson there, which is good. Now, if you have been watching my videos, you'll know that I now trade altcoins more than invest in them. For me, personal opinion, I don't want to be holding dead weight anymore. I feel that even though there's going to be peak euphoric periods at certain moments, it's not going to be the same as previous cycles. I see a lot of comments all the time about, oh, you know, what if we get a 15x, 20x? Well, it doesn't matter because it hasn't happened yet. We can't just go what if scenarios all the time. You've got to play what's in front of you. A Bitcoin at all-time high and no one's interested is always a bad sign, let's be honest here. And it's been like that for a while. And I've had a lot of pushback from a lot of people. And even when I talked months ago saying, look, don't invest in altcoins at the minute because it's a bit shit. If you want to play the game, you need to ride the momentum and get in, get out, and be safe. Because what happens is people watch my videos and think I'm really, really bullish, but I'm just bullish on the trades. I made money on the long. I'm making money currently on the short. I did get wiped out at this point here, by the way. I was in a really good position, and then Donald Trump opened his mouth. If you follow me, actually, you would have saw that. But ultimately, it's all about momentum, and the momentum is absolutely king here. I'm going to show you why. So one of the biggest factors I think at the minute currently why this is going to go shit-shaped, we're in June. Selling may go away. You've heard of it, right? And we'll talk about that in a second. But the stable currency dominance has changed character. This is going to start maybe going up, which was an indication of risk off. Assets, money, going back into stables. Put it that way. So that is a bit of a problem. So if that is the case, that's one obvious tick box. As I say before, right? And I know people go, oh, fucking hell, here we go. We've got to look at the fact that May was realistically an all right month. It wasn't perfect, but it was all right. It has been pretty good, 8% normally. June is often a bit negative. July, all right. August, September, selling may go away is a genuine thing. It's not so much always selling May, it's always sell the rally and then June, July, August, just chill the fuck out for a bit. But that's the thing. We could talk about that until we're blue in our face. And I know sometimes past data offers us a wobbly, and it does happen. Look at, for example, let's be honest here. Let's look at Q1 of this year. It's been pretty shit. Historically, it's relatively good. Q2, nowhere near as good. Q3, as we're going to go into that, is often a bit shit. Just be mindful. Anyways, let's not go too much into this. But the thing that kind of worried me about a lot of this was the fact that the other /BTC, and I talked about in my videos. Now, if you've been following my videos, I was bullish from like mid-April time, going, oh, look, this is looking good. It didn't really deliver as much as I would have hoped. There was signs of it, but we actually went and hit resistance levels, which kind of sucks. So if you go through my videos, you would have seen how bullish I was on altcoins. We just didn't materialize into that kind of oomph, which is a bit shit, unfortunately. And I know there'll be people in the comments going, you were wrong. But when you look at certain metrics and certain things, and when you see the stable currency dropping, for example, and then you start seeing, oh, change your character, hell, I may be right here, and it just rejects, it sucks. And someone commented on my video the other day from like 4 or 5 weeks ago going, well, this aged well. Well, no, not really, because what happened was we actually made some really big moves. You could see some altcoins, funny enough, do okay in the short term. For example, Hype. As I say, Solana, relatively decent run. Cardano, from these, they were running, they were trending. But now the trend is changing to a downtrend. So this is why we're looking negative. This is why we're looking bearish. This is why I've got a short on Solana. And that's a situation. Everything was triggering at certain points. It just didn't materialize into that bullish move. But ultimately, Trump said something which riled the market again. So the reason why I mentioned Trump is because when he did say that EU tariff of 50%, that's when the market literally turned. But you've also got this situation here. Russia, Ukraine, not ideal. You've got other politics around. You've got other regulations and legislation coming out about stable currency. It's all going a bit berserk at the minute. And that creates, tension. And it's even on the market wrap here on Bloomberg. Stocks fall as trade tensions erode risk appetite. They just don't care because it's like, what's the point? What's the point of being in a position when they're going to be debating, what tariff percentage, is it legal, is it not? And that becomes a bit of a problem. And when you go back to the likes of Bitcoin isn't getting any love, there's no euphoria despite all-time high. What is happening? Traders are getting wrecked because they're hitting the FOMO situation of an all-time high. And then late longs get punished. There's like $800 million worth of liquidations on the long side a couple of days ago because of it, which is a bit of a problem. And that's a problem we've got. And we've got to get used to the idea of that. And even when we look at the likes of the ETF data, and let me just press the refresh button here, it's getting some love, but not a lot of love recently. As you can see, really good and then really shit. It's like the market is just flipped on a sixpence going, we're risk off all of a sudden. And yeah, that's a bit of an issue. And we could talk about traders and liquidations, and this is what happened here. I still find this mental. Now, this is real. This happened. Look at the numbers. 4 million into 100, back into a total account loss of 17.5 million. It's a great story. But this, as I said in my X post when I quoted this, everyone can relate to this. The big wins, the losses. It's kind of like the Dunning-Kruger effect where, the least amount of information you've got, the best you are because you kind of just do it automatically, randomly. It's weird. The level of understanding. And this is what happens when you expect certain things and then all of a sudden, you don't realize what you got until you've lost it, so to speak. So just be mindful with this market, please. But what we need to do more than anything, is play what you see. We could be coming into a same situation as last year, so to speak, where we hit an all-time high and we rejected it a couple of times, which we did, going into the summer and into a lull. I know if you're on mobile, you're probably going to struggle to see that, but basically, this is like the start of June, and we into a very, very long, windy, horrible road into another run. Q4 maybe rescues it, but we'll see. I know a lot of people be going, just look at the M2, look at whatever, but the M2 isn't really a direction of where liquidity is going to go. It could go anywhere, but the liquidity may not go anywhere at all if Donald Trump is throwing his toys out of the pram. Just saying. By the way, if you are interested in that indicator at the top, you can get it on Learning Crypto on the free trial. It's a really good momentum indicator. It will keep you right. Downside to this entire market, as I say, is the geo side of it, of all the TradFi bollocks. It's a pain in the ass, so just be mindful of that. If you like this content, please do subscribe, like, comment, as always. But more importantly, watch this video.